Hey everyone, who doesn't love a fair, am I right?
Let's all go to the fair.
The rides, the games, the fun, the murder? Now The Walking Dead returns in just over a week, and we've heard him mention several times about an upcoming fair.
I'll be back before the fair starts, right?
To try and get Alexandria on board with the fair.
Don't suppose she's changed her mind about the fair?
No, you're kidding.
We really need this fair.
But what exactly is this, and why is it important? In case you haven't watched one of the hundreds of other videos out there about this, stay tuned to find out.
Come on, boys, let's go to the fair. See the funny sights in the cool night air. Grasshopper kissing the old black crow. Roadhog red to the door.
Now, nothing is confirmed yet, obviously, but needless to say, this video can contain some huge spoilers for the second half of The Walking Dead. And if you're reading the comics and not up to the Whisperer War yet, this will definitely contain some spoilers. You've been warned. Okay, so we got little clips here and there throughout the season about some fair that's going to take place, but why does this matter? So in the comics, after the war with the Saviors, we have a time jump similar to the one in the show. It's at least a couple years later. We first hear the fair when Andrea rides up asking Sadiq how it's coming along. We also learn that the fair is about 2 months away. During these 2 months, a lot of events happen. Magna's group is saved and brought into the Alexandria community. Rick agrees to let Carl move to Hilltop to apprentice for Earl. Ken and Marco are attacked while on patrol by the Whisperers. Marco makes it back to the Hilltop, saying the dead was talking. A rescue party led by Dante goes after Ken and is overwhelmed by the walkers with Whisperers in the mix. Dante is then taken captive. Jesus takes a search party after a missing patrol, gets attacked, and captures a girl named Lydia. Gregory tries to kill Maggie and is hung for it. Lydia is taken prisoner at the Hilltop and Carl befriends her and eventually falls in love with her. The Whisperers, led by Alpha, show up at the Hilltop to trade their captives for Lydia, who is revealed to be Alpha's daughter. Lydia is taken back with the Whisperers. Carl goes after her and is taken hostage. Alpha tries to reason with Carl but decides she must learn more about his group and sets off to Alexandria. Rick learns of his disappearance and goes after him along with Michonne, Dante, and Andrea. And this is where the fair starts. A lot of these events have already happened in the show, pretty much everything up to Lydia being captured, and from the mid-season previews, it seems this is where the second half will start out. Now, it's obvious that everything with Carl and Lydia can't happen in the show since, Scott Gimple killed them off, but I believe this element of forbidden love will still happen, just with someone else in Carl's place. Based off reviews of the first episode, it looks like Henry is going to take this role, though previews kind of make it look like it was supposed to be Daryl. In the comics, Carl frequently goes down to Lydia's cell to talk to her. In the trailer, you see Daryl doing the same thing. In the comics, Lydia is in her teens, about the same age range as Carl. The AMC version though, Lydia seems to be much older, making her more fitting for Daryl to fall for. We also see in the previews a shot of Daryl looking to be tracking the Whisperers, similar to what Carl does in the comics. So based on all the sneak previews and trailers, we know that AMC is going to take some major plot points from the comics for their second half. Lydia is going to be taken captive. Someone will fall in love with her. Alpha will show up and barter for her release. That someone will go after her and get captured by the Whisperers, most likely Alpha or maybe even Beta. If that someone is indeed Henry, Daryl will go after him. Once these events happen in the show, the fair will start. So what happens in the fair? Well, as talked about earlier in the comics, the events of the fair happen while Rick is away. Alpha, irritated that intruders have crossed into her lands not once, not twice, but 3 times, sheds her zombie skin and walks around the town observing how the communities behave. It's during this time that Rick's group is surrounded and Rick is taken to the Whisperer camp. Alpha shows up sometime later, bloody machete in hand, and says she and Rick need to have a talk. She takes him to a rooftop and shows him a massive horde of walkers unlike anything he's ever seen before, and threatens to unleash it on his communities if they ever cross into their lands again. Afterwards, Rick tells Carl it's time to leave and he's going with them whether he likes it or not. Refusing to leave Lydia behind though, Carl tells Rick that she is allowed to be raped and this is not a place where she should be living. Alpha makes no denial in that, saying that's only a part of nature. Lydia starts crying and confessing her feelings towards her mother. Saying this is a sign of weakness, Alpha decides to cast her out, but not before quietly telling Rick to keep her safe, showing just a little bit of real human emotion. She leaves Rick with one final message, the one that brings the significance of the fair into full light. I have marked our border. You will know it when you see it. Take my daughter across it and see that you never return. Heading back to where Andrea and the others were left, he finds them missing with signs of a scuffle. Rick can't help shake Alpha's words as he rides on, searching for his group. Marked our border, and the bloody machete. Not much further into the search, he finally realizes what those words mean. Carson, Tammy, Ken, Rosita, even the mighty King Ezekiel. They've all been lured out of the fair by Alpha, captured, murdered, heads put on pikes to mark the border. A very grave warning to Rick and the others not to cross into Whisperer territory again. So why is the fair important? Well, for starters, this is where a lot of people get killed off. And not just background players, but a lot of lead major characters such as Rosita and Ezekiel. So I feel AMC hyping the fair would be a huge disservice to their fans not to kill off some major characters. Ezekiel, looking at you, boy. More importantly though, the events of the fair and what happens afterwards is what sets up the second half of this story arc called the Whisperer War, where Rick and Dwight train the citizens into a militia to go and fight the Whisperers. Now, way too much stuff happens after that for this one video, but based on the feedback for this video, I might make another one covering that. As far as timing goes, it's gonna be a tough call. AMC has a habit of taking one issue and stretching it out over several episodes, and then later turning around and covering several issues in just 30 minutes, so this can go either way. If I had to guess though, I would say that Season 9 is going to end with the fair and Rick declaring war on the Whisperers, setting up for Season 10 with the actual fighting. I'd like to go into some of my predictions for the second half, but I think I'll make that a video in itself. So if you enjoyed this video, thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot. The biggest kudos you can give is a thumbs up and share this with your friends or followers. Let me know in the comments below what you're most looking forward to when The Walking Dead returns. And until next time, keep on